Hello and happy Friday. This week has just flown by. It's been a great week of harvest here on the farm, and it's been busy, but little few breakdowns, but we're still rolling and things are going well, and the weather has been awesome, which is always encouraging during harvest to have that. And I'm also excited to have my two college boys home this weekend, so that we can get even more work done and they can do more work than I do, which is always a good scenario too. So you should have seen getting ready for this. Like, I got my card ready, posted that what time I was going to be coming on, and then went into my kitchen, threw together my casserole, mixed up my salad, and then just made a pan of bars, threw them in the oven, set the timer for 30 minutes. So you know I can't go over 30 minutes or my bars will burn, and whipped off my apron, and it was go time. So hi Lois, it's good to have you joining here. Yeah, good morning. It's a rare thing when I do a morning live video, so it just was the way it worked out best, and we're farming farther away, so I kind of need to allow more time this afternoon for going back and forth to the field and helping out that way too. Hi Lisa. So I didn't know too if some of you might be actually starting your lunch hour, and that might work out well too. Well, I've got my iPad up and going, so I'm going to set that down. And that way, if you have more questions, you can. So today is card number 3 already, the final card for Cheryl's party already. And that's hard to believe that we've done 3 cards already together here. So today, this is the card. I kind of jumped to Christmas, and my reasoning being twofold. A lot of you guys like to start your Christmas ideas earlier than December. And we all know as crafters, it takes us a lot longer to put together handcrafted cards than it does to just take out a box of cards and do your Christmas cards that way. But these mean a lot more, and it's worth the time, and we all enjoy that, or we wouldn't do it. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Hi, Linda. With that, the other thing is that I wanted to mention is the paper that I'm using for the background, and you'll see it better when I turn my camera around, but that will be part of the Designer Series paper sale for the month of October. It's the Poinsettia Place Designer Series paper, and so with that, I thought, well, what a better time to use some fun paper so that you can see it in action, to know maybe you see it and go, okay, that's not as great as I thought, but hopefully you'll love it as much as I have. I've already bought a couple packages of that. So let me get my camera flipped around here, and then I can help help show you where things are found in the catalog. Hold on. Okay, so got the workstation hopefully at a good angle there, and so if you like to follow along, where I'm pulling the supplies today is from the holiday catalog, the August through December catalog, and Poinsettia Place. A lot of people have just been really excited about the Poinsettia Place products so far. And I always say I haven't got like the bundle yet, the stamp set and dies. I always say yet, because then something happens where I see something and I just have to have it, and then that changes. Right, Leah? Thanks for joining in. So this is the paper, though, the Poinsettia Designer Series paper, and I have it here too. And what I love about it, it doesn't have the embossing on it, but it looks like one of those papers that might have like the specialty embossing on there. And so you've got kind of some nice fall pine cone looks. But these poinsettias are absolutely gorgeous, and I love it in that rich, soft suede tone there, and the back sides are really fun. Anytime you have some kind of bonus hardwood looking paper as a background or another option is great. And these holly berries or winter berries are beautiful. And then we've got more designs and more poinsettias and more pine cones and such. And then it comes to the last paper, and that's what I'm using today. Hi, Amy. Hi, Deb. So I just thought, if I'm pulling out this, this was my starting point today, was this pretty paper here. Hi, Robin. Thanks for popping in. And so the Brightly Gleaming stamp set is from page, in that same holiday catalog, page 19. So the funny thing is I use, and if you remember last year, I loved the punches that coordinate with the stamp set. And so they've brought that back, and it's, like I said, a rare thing for them to bring things back, but I am so glad that they did. Hi, Barb. Hi, Pam. Both sisters joined in at the same time. How fun is that? And yes, Robin, it is a gorgeous day out again, too. I told my boys before they headed out to the field to pack in layers because it's going to start out chilly, but then they'll be glad that they have a t-shirt and maybe even shorts out there. Okay. So what's interesting about this is I used this all the time last year, brought it back, and they also brought it back with a 10% savings if you buy the punches and the stamp set. I'm not even using the punches today, which is unusual because I always have used them together. The other unusual thing is this image here I had to put together and put my sticker on today because I hadn't used it yet. But I thought, oh, how fun to take the hollies and match that up with the hollies from that Poinsettia Place Designer Series papers. So I'm hoping that I can make a good combination that might inspire you to do your own crafting today too, or even provide a card that might have a fun layout that you might want to copy with your own supplies. So this is today's card. Facing you. It's always hard when I first show it to you because the writing will be backwards and such. So Deck the Hall sentiment is from that Brightly Gleaming too, as well as the other stamp, and then the paper is the only thing from Poinsettia Place. Okay, so I think how I want to get started is just focusing and starting on that main sentiment and stamping and such. So yeah, I'm going to go with my Versamark pad, and I'm going to put the sentiment Deck the Halls with Boughs of Holly right in the center. And with my Versamark pad, you can tell it's well loved. You can tell my customers are well loved because they've used this pre-COVID all the time. And so it gets a little junky looking with maybe accidents, and that does not bother me. But it just kind of changes the color and the look of my Versamark pad. It doesn't look crisp, clean, vanilla colored like it should, but that's okay because it still works great and none of that ink transfers onto my design. So I have good lighting today because, as Robin mentioned, it's a beautiful day here in Minnesota. So I've got lots of sunlight. Otherwise, it might be hard with the clear Versamark ink to tell where I have I'm gonna see if I can put this down just a hair there, just for this part. I'm going to put lots of this embossing powder on. And so, yeah, sometimes with that clear ink, it's hard to tell, especially if I'm putting multiple images on my piece of paper. I don't want it to overlap. So I got a good view of where my previous images were to know where to put that. Okay, so this is gold embossing powder. And the tray Stampin' Up! Used to sell. I sure wish they did. So don't think you're missing out on something. And then I'm just going to heat emboss this. But something that I want to just mention is before I heat emboss it, it kind of looks like the color soft suede. And I'll bring that point back later. I don't want to talk much when the embossing gun is going because I don't know if you can even hear me. I'm going to see if I can pick it up in the camera. There we go, it's starting to turn a little bit. Okay. And it gets pretty hot, so that's why I'm turning it around in my hands. I think I've got it all done. So yeah, it went from kind of powdery, soft suede look to, and it likes to curl just a little bit. there you can see the camera picks up the nice gold shimmer shine. It's like sometimes with camera angles, it never does justice. Just kind of like the things in the catalog when we are excited about something in the catalog and then we see it in person and go, wow, that is a lot better, even though we liked it to start with. So sometimes after embossing, things are a little sticky or a little tacky. It doesn't take long for that to go away, but I just kind of set that aside, and let's just do some layering and assembling here with this card. It's going to be the inside, so I'm going to set that over. So my card base is my standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Actually, I'm going to just pop this up just a hair there. And so then my next layer of designer series paper is 4 inches by 5 1/4. So here you could have some, if you like plain Christmassy looking paper, that's the back side. But I'm playing with the holly berries because it matches that stamp set so well. So I'm just going to get out my adhesive here. Oops, there we go. Get that rolling. And sometimes if I forget to give it a little bit of a twist as I let go, then I have to push it forward a little bit. Not a big deal. It usually gets going right away. Okay, so I'm just putting that on like so, and then this will be ready to go. And I'm just going to do some quick coloring. And for that, I'm going to put the camera just a little bit closer, hopefully, so that you can kind of see better what I'm doing. So I'm going to start with my Real Red blends and find the darker. And I love coloring with the bullet tip, usually more than I do the brush tip. So I'm going to pop that open and just kind of circle my holly berries here. And having it embossed first kind of gives you a little bit of an edge to kind of stay within the lines. And then I just kind of re-dot, if you want to say, or circle the little dots that are within the holly berries too. Hi, Julie. Thanks for joining in. Kind of surprised everybody by maybe coming at you a little bit earlier today. So yesterday in the video, I said I might come on earlier today, but then I never know exactly what my schedule is going to end up being by the time the day comes along too with harvest. Busy times on the farm, but it's going well. Okay, so I'm just gonna cap that and then switch to the light Real Red, and then just kind of color over what I've already colored to just kind of blend and bring that back in. And then I go over everything else like so. So this one, I didn't know how long it would take to color this one in, but I just thought I'm gonna pick a couple colors and it goes pretty fast. So what I like to show you guys too is that sometimes when I first color something, you can see the edges a lot more distinctly, but then as it sets in, like even in 5 minutes, it'll just be more blended. So that's kind of nice too. So if you're using these, don't feel like, oh boy, what did I do wrong? The next color that I'm bringing in is Old Olive. And on the paper design on the back of the package here, I love it when they show, oops, I'm gonna have to move my camera, on the back, the different colors. So that's where I'm pulling kind of my color design to know to use Real Red and my Old Olive. So if you ever are kind of stuck like what color would be best, or if you're buying cardstock to coordinate with the paper sale coming up in October, you'll kind of know where to kind of go for guidance on that too. So I'm just kind of going up and around the outside edges of these leaves, and then just kind of tracing where it's embossed. Kind of want to go in between the hollies. And this is the darker of the Old Olive blends. I always feel like my hand's probably in the way more when I'm coloring, and I'm trying to not have it be in the way, just so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So just doing some tracing like so, and still loving these blends. It's just amazing how much my attitude about coloring in general has changed. And obviously I'm not just saying that because you can see based on my videos that I do a lot more coloring or a lot of coloring, and just know that I didn't try to do many projects with coloring because I always wasn't a fan until these blends came out, and they're just so smooth and so easy to work with. Okay, so that's what I'm doing for the dark. Hi Ruth, thanks for joining in. And then with the light Old Olive, just going to go back in over that and finish. And then whatever was dark, I'm just kind of pulling, and especially in the middle, it's just going to kind of blend that so the lines won't look too dramatic. And actually the lines will kind of just be showing up because most of those lines, if not all of those lines, have been embossed with that gold embossing powder already. Kind of looks a little smeary weird as it kind of bumps over the embossing powder, or not the powder, but the embossing, I noticed. And so back in my craft room, I forgot to bring it out, but I just have my little towel for like messes and fingers that get ink on them and wiping off stamps and such. And so so if I had that out here, I would just kind of wipe off my my hollies, but I think if I do that with my fingers, it'll be just fine too. So I'm hardly getting any ink on my fingers when I do that because they are alcohol based. They dry really fast, but it just kind of helps make the embossed gold pop again. So we still see a lot of that embossed gold. There we go. I love it when the camera can pick that up. Some days are better than others. Okay, so let me just take and put my camera tripod back a little bit so it's not so close. So then as I was getting ready, and I always like to kind of explain this part of my creation to help you guys. So thank you, Ruth. So as I was trying to mat this, I thought soft suede, as I mentioned before, the soft suede color is often what I kind of use when I emboss with gold because it's kind of a flat ink color that coordinates well with anything that's embossed with gold. It just didn't look right. I pulled out some of the greens and it just didn't look right. And red what was needed for that layer. And then I had to decide next on ribbon. And whenever Stampin' Up! Comes out with real red ribbon, I buy it up like hotcakes because real red can be used for so many occasions, like birthday cards and just cards that you would normally send things out for. But then Christmas is always a hot project that I do a lot with. I'm just putting dimensionals as I talk, dimensionals to pop up the sentiment. So, and then Valentine's is right after that too. And sometimes if it's a really pretty red ribbon, Stampin' Up! Has had some times where it gets back ordered. And I don't like to have my Christmas project sitting there without ribbon or waiting for that or Valentine's. So I always have plenty of red ribbon on hand. So I had lots to choose from too for this project. Okay, so there we have Deck the Halls with Boughs of Holly on there. And I love that just this strip allows for so much of the pretty paper in the background to still show. And at first I thought it looked crooked, but I think it's okay because I always want my hostesses to have good cards. And so I've been known to redo them or even give them my sample cards so that they get a better card. So when it came for ribbon, there's that new coming to town, or no, all the trimmings and the coming home package. And there's that 2-pack of the olive and real red. And it's got also the, it has the gold trim, gold embossed edges on it. So I thought, well, that might be good. But I felt like it looked just maybe a little skinny with some of the bigger images. So I kind of set that aside, but that would be an option if you already have that. And then another newer one is the braided linen trim, but in the real red color. And Linda's asking, hi Bella, another great, oh, I thought you were asking, yeah, I thought you were asking a question about something. Yes, Christmas will be here before we know it. So yeah, thanks for popping in and reminding us, because it does take us by surprise. And after harvest is just here so quick. And I love having some ideas in mind already. And that way, you know that you can get your supplies. And if there's back order issues, you can be ahead of the game. So I just kind of thought, to have this linen, this or braided trim, I should say, braided linen trim. That would have worked too, but I kind of wanted something a little thicker. So I went to the annual catalog, the big catalog, and got out my Real Red. So it's the Real Red, and it's the double stitched satin ribbon. And so it is double stitched. At first I hardly saw that, but it's really pretty, and the satin really makes it nice and shiny. So I'm just going to take and wrap that around the front of the card. And you guys know me, this card won't have a bow on it, even though it's Christmas. It still won't have a bow. It's going to have a knot. And so, so the satin ribbon, this one ties really well. And so that's nice too. Sometimes satin can give me a little bit of a hassle because of the shininess. I'm just going to do a straight cut across there and a straight cut across there. So I just feel like the shininess of the ribbon really coordinates well with the shininess of the embossing too. And sometimes I'll have ribbons that do just a little bit of a twist and a pop. This one's not bad, but I was just at a recent party and I'm like, well, I have to show you what I do if it becomes a problem where it's like everything is tied. I just don't like that little twist. So what I do is get out my glue dots, my mini glue dots, and my take your pick tool, and I can just pick up that little glue dot, and then just before my knot, I will just kind of secure that underneath the ribbon. Oops, make sure that's flat, and just having that flat right here, the glue dot holding that flat, then it really helps to secure that knot there. So I'm just gonna, there's a little bit of a tiny piece here that wants to be sticking out, kind of like a bad hair day. Okay, so then you know I always like to add just a little bit of something. So I'm going to do the inside for you and tell you what I picked for my embellishment or accessory today. Hi Faith, miss you girl. Faith is on my team and we haven't been doing team meetings since COVID started, and I think we need to do something online together to rectify that. It's on my list of things to do. Thank you, Becky. So I'm just going to stamp that out. Not often does Becky get to join me because of her work schedule when I do my live. So it's fun to see a new name on there. Not new, but sometimes you're on, but not very often. So the So Be Jolly this season, I stamped out in soft suede because like I said, that kind of coordinates with the gold look. And you could stamp and emboss that in gold to have that follow through. And then with the stamp set here, that is in the stamp set as its own image, the sentiment, and then this image here with the scrolls and such, I just put that right underneath. So I put both stamps on the same set, or on the same block, excuse me, so that when I was stamping it out together, I know it's lined up, and it reduces sometimes the ability to have a stamp rock or wiggle. So the fuller your block is with stamps, then you're not going to get those edges. So we have that nice little scrolly design there and going with that. So that's ready to just put on the inside. And if you are like me and have tons of Christmas cards to make, something like this isn't too bad. Like I would do assembly line where I'd do all the cutting, then I would do all the coloring, and then I would, you know, do the assembly in steps and such. But something like this is a really pretty thing because the paper does so much of the eye-catching, popping moment for you. So it doesn't take a lot to add to that if you're making multiples. And there's so many other gorgeous sheets in that paper pack that you could do just variations of this too. And then, like I said, I have an embellishment. And I love these little red rhinestones, and there's tons. There are 220 of these little red rhinestones on here. So I'm just going to take my Take Your Pick tool and grab about 3 of them. And odd numbers are good. Just kind of put them here and there. Oops, there, I've got one on there just to kind of add a little bit of bling. And it does really help to make that just pop. So first I thought, oh, it's just fun with all the embossing. Do I need to add that? But I do think that it was worth it just to have that little extra on there. It's amazing when you have like those 220, you can do a lot of cards with this, with these red rhinestones, and how much it does add for that too. So I hope you enjoyed today's card. It seems like, okay, it's 80 degrees and we're making a Christmas card, but that's how it is in Minnesota, because we all know that we can go really fast backwards the other way too. Oops. Okay. Hopefully I didn't make you dizzy there. So that was card number 3 for Cheryl's party, her virtual party. And so next I'm going to upload the card, and then that will have a recap of her host code too. So yeah, 3 of you sisters watching together, how fun. And so when I upload the card, I'm looking at the time. I don't know if I'll get it done because I have to pull my casserole out of the oven to feed the guys and pack up the salad and pull out the bars too. And so I might not have time to upload my card, but look for it later today, and the video will post right away. And even if you're looking to order to get the cards, the codes on yesterday's card, the still shot of that too, so that'll help in case you didn't catch it during the video. But how it works is if you need something and want to support Cheryl's online virtual party, then with a $25 minimum order, then you get the 3 cards that I've crafted today and the previous 2 days as a thank you from both Cheryl and I. So when you order, just remember to plug in that host code, and then that will give you the benefits of the cards as a thank you. So looking ahead, I think I'm taking a break. I really think I am. And so October 1st, I'll be back, and I'll be doing virtual crafting for Pam Crinky, and she'll be the next hostess. And then I'll plug in here and there my virtual stamp camp cards for October. And then I'll also in the middle of the month have a virtual party going for Kathy Hunter. So it'll be a jam-packed October too. So that'll give you guys lots of chances to see new videos and different products and just different techniques too. So I'm looking forward to bringing those to you in October. It's only less than a week away, but it just seems like I won't be seeing you guys for a long time. So take care, and if you have any questions, let me know. And Cheryl will be keeping her party open until at least the beginning of October. So if there's any of the pretty papers that you need, you can reference that list of the papers that will be on sale. There's I think 15 different packs of paper, so that can be referenced on this page if you look for the designer series paper sale that will be the whole month of October. So take care. Thanks so much.